Hey everyone, it's Blake. Welcome in to episode number 24 of our AEW 2022 Save and TEW 2020. This is our state of AEW for September 2022. And I forgot to mention this on the last episode we did, the Rampage episode, that we had this before we actually could get to the Dynamite Rampage and then, of course, our All Out pay-per-view. But yeah, we have our state of because I was trying to remember. I was like, oh yeah, the All Out actually falls in the first week of September. So here is where we look at the state of the company in September of 2022. If we were doing this in reality, it would be a lot interesting to look at the week before All Out 2022 in reality and the week after All Out 2022 in reality. But in this universe, we're moving right along pretty well in terms of how we're gaining popularity in the promotion. And so here's where we are. We're at, a lot of 69s here, 57 Puerto Rico, 56 Hawaii, 70 in the Southeast. So if we track our progress from August to September, yeah, we made some pretty good movement here moving forward. So moving in the right direction as we try to take over the world, dominate WWE eventually in the future. That is our goal here. And so we're moving in the right direction. Have basically, jumped up almost 10 points here in popularity from when we started Save in June. So moving in the right direction in terms of where we are there. We will look at some other stuff that's sort of going on around the company. Right now, as we mentioned, sort of looking at the state of our titles, all that stuff. Jade Cargill continues to be our TBS champion, TNT champion. Wardlow's going to put that on the line against Miro. So we haven't had a lot of title changes, as you guys know. Thunder Rosa continues to be our women's champion. Punk still the world champion. Really, I guess the only championship that's changed in our save so far has been the tag team titles, with Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs becoming our champs here in week 3 of June. So not many title changes, but we'll see if that changes once we get to All Out. Our storylines continue to do well. We just needed 50 demand to hit that. I mean, look, if you go down the line here, Be Elite at 85, so that's kind of the story we've been pushing that led to the Ultimate Elite. House of Black and the Hangman. Jungle Boy's Revenge on Christian. So Miro, Summer of Punk with MJF involved, of course. So pretty good stuff across the board. I think I know why the Summer of Punk one is not as well overall, because I think I haven't added MJF to it. So that's my own thing. You guys know sometimes if you look at WWE Save, I just forget to update the storylines. I know it would help, and I just forget to do it, in all honesty. So I will do that after this episode to add the people that need to be in the right place here to get some of the storyline heat up for some of those. So, that's where we're at on that. Where we are, in the save, of course, is getting ready for All Out, which will be, again, week 1, September. So a couple shows from now will be All Out, as I have teased. And we'll talk more about this after All Out, because usually we have a state of after a pay-per-view. We won't have that here because All Out, we'll go straight into the next edition of Dynamite. But I said I was going to tweak the schedule a little bit after All Out. I am still contemplating how I want to do that, but I do think that is going to be a thing. And I've kind of teased saying a reset for this AEW Save. I don't mean that from a storyline standpoint, but I do mean that from changing up the schedule a little bit. And there are some options that I have in mind. And yes, people have asked about Collision, so we just go ahead and insert that into the series, since even though in September 2022 it wasn't a thing, but should we just go ahead and find a way to put that in? That is something that I'm thinking about right now, to kind of consider what options we have there. Like it or not, Rampage is Rampage at this point in reality. And so do we change some things up there? Do we kind of make a switch? Do we bring Collision in, get rid of Rampage? I like kind of having a 1-hour show, not versus 2-hour shows, because you guys know I have 2-hour shows in the WWE Save. But hey, somehow we've managed to go 100+ episodes in that. So it's something that I'm kind of looking at to see what we want to do with the schedule. So we'll talk more about that after All Out, because that may be actually a special episode we do, talking about some of the changes to the schedule. But for now, that's where we are with all of that kind of leading into it. So company wars, we can look at kind of the state of our competition. I know that's always interesting to look at. It's interesting still to see this NXT logo, since now it's, changed back in reality, but always kind of wild to see how that plays out. So WWE, they still got some money. They're still ranked first in the world. I think they're medium. I don't know if that was the way it started in this mod. I don't remember. But so that's where they are. If you're looking at kind of the WWE landscape there and everything going on, I know it's kind of interesting always just to look at what they have going on in the save at this time. So let's see if there's anything. I guess Money in the Bank, would that have happened? Yeah. So Ronda Rousey won the women's Money in the Bank. So we see that here. That's July. I don't know if we looked at this previously, so I apologize if we did. Money in the Bank in the men's side was won by Seth Rollins. So the current WWE champion, Brock Lesnar, not surprised there. 24/7 champion, still around at this point. Poor Drew Gulak. AJ Styles, the Intercontinental champ. Gable and Otis, tag team champions. Becky Lynch, the women's champ. Street Profits, SmackDown. Charlotte Flair, Finn. Roman Reigns, still the Universal champion. 679-day reign. So it's not that far off now. We'll see if anybody beats him in our series here as we go along. So that's WWE. I guess if you look at their size, 73 across the board here. So really, I mean, come on, you really look at it. We're not that far away in terms of the actual size and everything. You can see they've gone down. So the AI has not done them any favors in terms of booking this company. They're losing popularity. We're gaining ground. The road to domination is close here for AEW. If you're curious about their top matches, I guess you could say, their top events, Hell in a Cell did a 79, SummerSlam did a 79. We'll look at ours here in a second. I always forget to look at that as sort of the state up. But their best match, Roman Reigns defeating AJ Styles at Hell in a Cell. Reigns and Ray, Reigns and Owens and Zayn in a ladder match. So again, there's some good stuff there in terms of parallels to reality. New Japan, they're kind of in that same range. So, but WWE, our biggest competition for sure in terms of where that's at. And so that is where that stands. So again, let's look at our company and we can kind of look at where we are from that standpoint. I think if I click on this, I'm trying to think. I know I'm going to give away some people that we signed. So we're going to look at the top 100 matches, but I'm going to do it with kind of a fast forward here so you guys can't see the news headlines on the right here of some of the people that may be coming into AEW. I want to leave those as spoilers. So now let's look at the top 100 and we can kind of see where our matches are. All right, so that was quick enough, right? So I jumped forward. I'm trying to see, is there anybody? Okay, you can't see it. So there were some spoilers given away on signings that I didn't want to necessarily give away. So to this point in our save in September, our top events, we got some good light blue here. I always like to see that. July and August, good months in terms of the shows that we put on. And so, yeah, that's kind of where we are. Our matches, the Danielson and Moxley in 2.0, still our best match, a 90, that one in July. We had Danielson and Nick Jackson. That was our recent episode of Dynamite, our most recent one. So that's our best singles match to this point, Bryan Danielson and Nick Jackson. We had the Danielson Archer, Punk, and Garcia. So a lot of Danielson up here. Bryan Danielson can wrestle, in case you weren't aware. So, yeah, a lot of good matches here so far. And so, yeah, we're really looking forward to that. TV ratings going up. A lot of August up here. I like to see that, especially for Dynamite. So we go above that 2 range in the TV ratings and overall viewership. Yeah, Dynamite definitely on the right track. So that's a look at this. And again, I'm going to have to fast forward because if I click out of this, you're going to see some of the signings. So let's now look at kind of our popularity for our workers and see how we progress there. All right, so we look at the state of this, and we're going to look at several different sections here as we kind of have filtered these by major star. We'll look at the stars and well-known. I think beyond that I may give some things away, but I think in these top 3, you're not going to see any spoilers on that. So Hangman is at here. You can kind of see where he's at. I don't really know how Hangman's changed from a popularity standpoint. So, yeah, he hasn't really changed a whole lot the last couple months, but I kind of had some back and forth with the House of Black. So Danielson, this has to be improved, right? He's in the 80s. I don't remember exactly. Yeah, so Danielson took a big jump up here in several areas. He's been pretty successful in winning some matches. So that sets up nicely for Danielson. Jericho's still here, considered as one of our top stars, so he's moving up as well, about to hit that 80 mark there. Punk is still, 93 in the Great Lakes is just tremendous. But, yeah, so Punk hasn't changed at all, actually, but he hasn't wrestled a lot of matches. And, his segments are usually doing in the 90 to 100 range, so that's kind of expected. Moxley in the 80s, I don't know how he's changed. Yeah, so Moxley took a little bit of a jump up here in popularity, so he's now into the 80s everywhere. Sting, 74. Sting hasn't wrestled a whole lot, has he? So, yeah, he's actually lost a little popularity, but he's lost some matches, so that makes sense. All right, let's go to Star. We got quite a few here. We'll kind of run through these pretty quickly. Adam Cole. I don't know where Adam Cole would be. I know he'd won some matches. So, yeah, Cole's moving up in the right direction. Britt Baker, I assume she's also moving up in the right direction into that 60 range. Yep. So, Britt Baker making some strides. Christian. I don't think Christian's actually wrestled much, has he? Yeah. So, Christian stayed the same everywhere with popularity. Claudio, who will be part of our Ultimate Elite series. I have to think that's going to help him boost some popularity. It will for sure, and he's already doing a little bit of that here. So Claudio in the right direction. Kenny Omega, you can kind of see what his popularity is. And I know this is where people can kind of, pick apart whether they think it's the way it should be or too high, too low, whatever. But yeah, that's just kind of where Omega is. So he's getting into that green now, which is what we need. I mean, we need Kenny to be one of our bigger stars. So we do need that. Malachi Black has jumped up pretty, nicely here since the start of the save. So there's that. Miro going to challenge for the TNT Championship. And we see Miro moving up also. MJF. I've got to think MJF. And you can see here again, you can argue where that was, but you remember where it was at the start of the save and in reality, June 2022. Again, whether you think that's where it should have been or not. But MJF, we need him to get up there pretty quickly. Just given where he's going to be challenging for the world title. So Nick Jackson into the 60s. So he's moving up. And I guess Matt Jackson's in there. Paul White, I got nothing against Paul White. We haven't used him at all. So, all right, well known. It's got quite a few in here. We'll just run through some of these quickly. Andrade's an interesting one because he's going to be on the All-Out card there. Cash Wheeler, 60s. I don't think that's changed much. Darby's in the 50s. So Darby hasn't moved a whole lot from that. Dax, 60s as well. Not much change there. Dustin Rhodes, I wonder just by being involved in this top-tier storyline, so he's taken a jump up. Kingston is a fascinating one. He's in the 50s and 60s, so Eddie's moving in the right direction, being in some of those, top-tier segments too. Jade going into the 50s now, so popularity, I'm not looking at Jeff, Jim Ross, Jungle Boy. I don't think Jungle Boy's changed much. His best win's probably Luchasaurus at this point. So Keith Lee hasn't changed much. We haven't used them a lot. Kyle O'Reilly, I guess, is the one to look at. So he's in the 50s from a popularity standpoint. And remember, that's a little bit different when I'm looking at popularity ratings in AEW versus WWE. They mean a lot more there, but I like to do this to let you guys have an idea of, has anyone just completely taken off from a popularity standpoint? I think it's always fun to kind of check that out. So Pac, haven't done much with OC there. And Pac hasn't changed. He hasn't really wrestled a lot either. I don't think Penta and Phoenix have changed much. I wonder where Hobbs is at. I guess they haven't done a whole lot since winning the title, so probably didn't take that's right, we talked about that on the last one. Hobbs took the big jump in July, but he takes a bit of a step up too in September, so Hobbs is kind of one of the faster moving ones up. I assume Starks is probably in that same range, so Ricky Starks is taking a big jump from the start of our save, so that's what we wanted. Joe will be part of Ultimate Elite. And, again, Joe's moving up a bit. Anyone else here? Wardlow's the only other one we could probably look at from this standpoint. So Wardlow also kind of in the 50s. So there you go. That's a look at our roster and the popularity changes. And as I said, we will continue to work on these upcoming episodes as we head towards the go-home edition of Dynamite and Rampage for our all-out pay-per-view. So that'll be the next several episodes. You already know them. Dynamite and Rampage on the next one. We'll have our all-out preview, and then we will have AEW All-Out for 2022 after that. So appreciate you guys always. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. And anything else, like I said, you check out everything else we got on the channel. We got the WWE Save, C-Verse, with TCW going on, exploring the C-Verse. We're almost finished with that series. And we got some other fun stuff that I'm kind of having some fun with on the channel. Some new videos as well that we'll have in different sort of series coming up also. So hit that subscribe button. Appreciate you guys as always. And on the next episode of our AEW 2022 Save, this time I mean it, it will be Dynamite for September week 1.